Hello, good evening. Hope everyone is great. So as you can hear, I haven't quite gotten my voice back yet, but we're going to carry on anyway. I didn't want to cancel 2 weeks in a row. So please bear with me. And hopefully my voice will hold out. I've got some cough drops and things here. I'm really excited about the topic tonight. I think we've got some cool stuff to look at, to play with, some good stuff to resolve and heal within. So what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to look at harmony. And this is something I talk about a lot. It's something that I feel really, it works for me. Hi, Elizabeth. I think it makes a huge difference when people start to understand inner harmony and what it does for you. And for me, the importance of it is it's kind of understanding all the components of your life. And when you can recognize how everything connects in with each other, how everything clicks together, then you can understand whether there's harmony or discord within you. And if it's within you, then it plays out in your life too. So you can kind of look at your relationship, stuff with your work, stuff with your money, stuff with, whatever is happening in your life, and start to recognize where there may be some disharmony within and where you can do a bit of work to resolve that and bring you back into harmony, back into focus, back into clarity. So tonight we're going to definitely do a bit of healing for that. So if there are things like, if there's some conflict or some drama coming up in your life, whatever you're having problems with, Jill, hi Jill, just saying I could use harmony in my life right now. Yeah, can't we all? Feels like a good time to be talking about this. The last few weeks have been really interesting, and you can hear how it's affecting me. I've had lots of people have had some big shifts going on energetically, and I know I've been a part of that, and my body's having a hard time kind of keeping up with that. So so I think a lot of people are feeling a little bit disjointed or a little out of sorts or just not quite centered within themselves. So hopefully tonight's live will help with that as well. So we'll I feel like there's something else I need to say. Oh yeah, and Jill's saying conflict too. Perfect timing. Hi Shuna, good to see you, hear from you again. So today's going to be a good one. The goal of this live really is to invite more peace and invite more harmony in. If there are things that are not in alignment, that are not in harmony with you right now, it's looking at either ways to change those circumstances, change the energy around it, or find if there are ways that you can allow that to resolve or go. So whatever comes up will be individual for you. If you got any questions or anything at any point, please feel free to type in the comments. If you're watching the replay, feel free to comment or question, but just tag me to make sure that I get it. And feel free to share this with anybody that feels like it would be good for them to hear. I'm happy for the healing to go. So what I want you to do is just take a moment, take a couple nice deep breaths, and just allow yourself to be nice and centered. If it feels like you've got some distractions going on, you're thinking about work from today or things that are coming up this week or weekend, take a nice deep breath and allow that stuff to kind of soften a little bit. We're going to get to that. I'm sure the stuff we're doing now will help with that. But just allow yourself to be nice and present as possible. We're going to start tonight with talking about listening. So we're talking about harmony, which obviously a lot of times when we talk about harmony, people think about sound, think about music. And so tonight we're really going to start with looking at how well we listen. How well we listen to our bodies, how well we listen to our intuition, how well we listen to the amazing people that are in our lives, whether they are doing things to help you feel supported and guided, or they're doing things that are maybe shaking things up and triggering things for you. Sometimes that happens too, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. So I want you to take a moment and just think about your ability to listen. So if you can tune into your ears or that intuitive hearing as well, Just get a sense of how that energy feels around your head, around your ears right now. And if it feels like things are a little bit off there, if it feels like, I don't know, it's a bit blocked or you're struggling with it, take a couple of nice deep breaths and allow that energy to start to soften. Because if you're struggling to hear, you might have a hard time with some of the other things that we're going to do tonight. So whatever you're resisting hearing, whatever you're resisting listening to, whatever you're resisting facing within yourself, within your life, within whatever facet of your life, breathe into that. Just take a moment to breathe into that. Okay, it's feeling better already. Cool. So, as we go through our live tonight, I'm going to get you to keep tuning into your listening. Now, I think what comes up, we talked about it the last few weeks with intuition, kind of being able to hear, or feel, or see what's going on around you and within you. For those of you who feel like you don't know how to hear, or that's not your strongest sense, let go of that feeling right now. Just allow that to resolve, because that's just a belief. And you actually hear and receive more information than you think you do. So any beliefs that are coming up, this is going to be hard or difficult, or you're not going to be able to do it, then just go ahead and let that resolve right now. Hi, Mom. Cool. Yeah. So, so let's go ahead and tune into that feeling of listening, to that understanding of listening, not just hearing, but listening. I think what happens for a lot of us is we hear a lot. There's a lot of sound in the world. If you live in a city or you've got loud people around you, kids or animals, you've got traffic, or if it's just your thoughts that feel loud all the time, whatever's feeling loud, taking a nice deep breath. And even if it feels overwhelming, if it feels difficult, feels like you're struggling with it, just breathe into it and allow that noise to soften. We're going to go more into that and how to deal with that. But let's just allow that feeling of too much to just start to soften. Feel your body start to relax. All these defenses that you've built up to stop you from hearing, to stop you from listening, to stop you from understanding. Just taking a nice deep breath and allow that stuff to start to soften. Hey, Claire. Yeah. Already feeling better. Good. Okay. So let's talk about harmony. So I was talking about this in class the other day, and in some sessions, actually, it's been coming up a lot. So a lot of people talk about balance. I think balance is bullshit. And I'll explain why. I think there's a better way than balance. So for me, when I think about balance is like you on a tightrope, either trying to walk ahead or on a unicycle, and you're juggling plates or, balls or whatever. And you're always moving forward and backward and side to side. And when you try to create balance in your life, what happens is one part of you will go, okay, I've got loads of work to do. And so to compensate for that, I can't have that much fun. Or this week I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to do some social things, some things that really, my inner child really likes. And then you think that means that every good habit or everything that you do that has structure has to go out of place. And so balance is always about compensating. It is always a compensation. And you can look in your life and see where you're trying to balance out other people, whether it's your family, your relationships, your work. We spend a lot of time trying to balance out the energy, sacrificing parts of ourselves, some of our expression, to try to balance the energy. So I'm going to encourage you to just take that word right out of your vocabulary, because we don't need to balance anything. You don't need to sacrifice or compensate or do anything to make something work or more comfortable, or whatever reason it is that you're doing it. Hopefully this is ringing some bells. There's some reason that you can understand what I'm talking about here. So actually, if there's any areas of your life where you feel like you are trying to balance something out and it's not working for you, Taking a nice deep breath and allow that energy to start to resolve now. We don't need to balance anymore. So what you can do instead is create harmony in your life. Harmony is a really different energy from balance. So the reality is that, we're complex beings. We want to do more than one thing at a time, and that's great. So it's okay for you to have a job. It's okay for you to have a social life. It's okay for you to exercise and take care of yourself. It's okay for you to have fun. It's okay for you to have time for your friends and family. It's okay for you to develop hobbies or research or study or learn or grow, read. It is okay to have all these things in your life. It is healthy for you to have all these things in your life. If you're only doing one thing all the time, that is not healthy. So harmony is when you can recognize your priorities in life, your priorities for the things that feed you and nourish you and help to contribute to your happiness, and you find ways to make them all fit together. So that is harmony. That is you being the complex being that you are, but allowing those layers to coexist and create a harmony. So you can think of yourself like a symphony. This is one of my favorite ways to describe the body, describe us as humans, as beings. One instrument is beautiful. You can listen to one instrument that's played by a masterful musician, and it's beautiful. But there is something special about a group of instruments coming together, and they can be playing different notes and different rhythms, different paces, different everything. But when they find the harmony and work together, that complexity and those layers are magical. They're absolutely magical. And we have that capacity to make our lives like that. It's all about, but it takes you listening to yourself and recognizing what it is that's creating the disharmony in your life. So the disharmony in your life, the disharmony in your symphony, those off chords, those off rhythms, those keys that aren't working, this is the conflict in your life. This is the drama in your life. This is you going against the flow of your life and either pushing too hard for stuff or just really resisting being with it. So take a moment and think about the things again that are causing conflict, that are creating conflict. What is it in your life that feels like is out of harmony with you? It's out of sync. It's creating some issues. And if you want to share in the comments, please do. We'll do some healing on this. Whatever comes up for you is probably coming up for somebody else. So if you share it, that will be great. Then more than one person will get some healing from that. But even if it is just you, that's fine too. So have a think about, what's creating disharmony in your life. What's going on emotionally for you? What are the fears? What are the behaviors? If there's specific behaviors that are causing conflict, that are causing drama? What's kind of creating that disharmony? So have a think about that, feel into that, and share anything that comes up for you. That'd be great. Because it may be that you recognize that there are a couple of areas of your life that are great. They're working along, they're playing along just fine. But it may feel that there's a couple of areas that just haven't quite clicked in, haven't quite gotten the tempo or the volume. Yeah. Cool. So if anything comes up, let me know and we'll do some healing around that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a little bit of a... Well, first we'll talk about the emotional stuff. Then we'll go through a little bit of a meditation. So let's talk about the emotional kind of disruptors. And this really is, I want to talk a lot about disruption. And again, I do want to make the point, disruption's not always a bad thing. Sometimes disrupting your life is the best thing you can do. But if it feels like disruption is something that's happening all the time, that is a good indicator that things really are out of harmony. Really not there. Oh, Claire's saying work. She needs to change it a bit. Yeah. So Claire, what you may find is that there are some elements that are working for you, but it may be that there are a few things that just you haven't quite got into place yet, that haven't quite clicked in. Hey, Barbara. So these areas of disruption in your life, Yeah, those are the things to really focus on. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about the areas that are in your life that feel in conflict, that feel like they're not in harmony. And I want you to feel into the emotion within your body when you think about those areas. So start to identify the emotions that are there that are contributing to the unhealthy disruption. So if you want to share any, please do. So a big one for people is anger. This has been coming up for a lot of people the last few weeks. A lot of anger has been coming up for people. So anger is uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. And we do a lot to hide from it. And it feels really, can feel really irritating, really frustrating. It can cause a lot of disharmony within us. Things like sadness. Sadness can really slow things down, can make us feel really heavy, can make us feel like we're stuck, can make us feel unable to move forward, unable to move on. Things like hatred and deep resentment. I mean, a lot of times people don't like to talk about this stuff because we judge ourselves for feeling this way. I'm going to give you permission to feel how you feel because we are human beings. And there may be times where you feel really pissed off at somebody. And there may be some times where you can recognize there's some old anger within you, some old hatred, some old resentment, some old frustration. Allow yourself to connect with that stuff now, because as we connect with it, we're going to heal it. So it's okay to connect with it. It's okay to feel it. The more you avoid it, well, it doesn't go anywhere. Then you just got to keep messing with it. It's also things like regret. Regret's a big one. If you spend your whole time holding on to regret, all you're doing is spending time in the past, wondering what you should have done differently. It's hard to move forward with that music in your life if you're always just looping back to the stories from before, looping back to that old music that isn't even you anymore. Does all this make sense? Is all this pretty clear? So I want you to just feel into that. Any emotion you can identify that feels like it's causing disharmony, it's creating conflict. Just start to breathe into that. We're just going to start to, at the beginning here, we're just going to start to shift some of that. So even if you can't totally identify what the feeling is, that's okay. Just allow yourself to feel it. It might be a heaviness. It might be that you're better at seeing it or hearing it. So as you breathe in, just imagine you're breathing in lots of love and peace. As you breathe out, feel that emotion feeling lighter. You can feel it resolving or dissipating or changing. So here's the thing. We're at a really interesting time energetically right now. And we are at a really cool time, especially the last few weeks a lot of this has been about identifying the old emotion and the old habits and ways of thinking so that we can let them go. It's time to change the song. It's time to change the music. So I think a lot of people have had a really hard time the last few weeks. But it's really been an opportunity to go within and recognize what's there. Because the music's changing right now. The sessions I've done today the music's totally changing. Oh yeah, Sheena's saying I want to live in the country and the city. And this has caused so much conflict for years. Yeah, I hear you about that. So it may be that you're just looking for the right place. And it may be about you recognizing what within your life kind of resonates with the country aspect and what resonates with the city aspect, and see if there's a way that you can have the best of both worlds, or that you can have time in both. Because there's always a solution to that. I think a lot of times as well is that we get in our head that we're like, I've got to choose a place to live and I got to be there the rest of my life. You don't have to do that. It's important for you to have some adventure and some movement and some travel. Then maybe that's where the disharmony is coming from. The party is going, let's have a little bit of more. Let's play with this a little bit. Yeah. So Lisa's saying, I've been stuck in the same job feel I'm stopping myself moving forward due to fear, not giving permission to myself to move on to new, better things that I know are available to me. That's such a common thing, Lisa. That's people talk about this stuff over and over again. And it is the thing that people play safe. They're like, well, the job or the house or the whatever I've got now is okay. It's not terrible. It's not great. But if I give this up and go to something else, it might be worse. Yeah, even though on one level you know it's okay, on another you might be afraid. So whatever resonates within that, with what Lisa said and what Sheena said, really taking a nice deep breath and allow that to start to resolve within you. Here's the thing, because we're talking about symphonies and music, the more you stay stuck in the past, or you keep just repeating the same stories, the same issues, it's like a record that skips and you're just playing the same moment over and over and over and over again. Your body and your soul and everything, that you get tired of that really quick. You do get tired of that. So for those of you who are just in that skipping bit, taking a nice deep breath and allow that to resolve so that you can move forward with grace. Yeah, it feels like a few of you have been in that skipping skipping record. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through a bit of a meditation. We're going to do some healing with it. Again, if you got any questions, go ahead and type them and I'll come back to that once we get through this. So I want you to close your eyes and take in a couple nice deep breaths. And what I want you to do is I want you to just listen to your body right now. Just listen to whatever it sounds like. And remember, there's going to be layers. There's going to be multiple things going on. So take a moment and just allow this listening to soften. Don't feel like you have to focus on one thing or another. Just hear the sound of your body. The sound of your energy right now. Sound of what's going on within you in your human form. So you might be hearing more of your thoughts. You might be hearing certain emotions speaking to you. You might be hearing specific organs asking for help. So you might be hearing words or sounds or tones. Just allow yourself to hear what it sounds like. If you've never done this before, that's okay. You already know how. We're hearing our bodies all the time anyway. We just don't always do it consciously. So that sound that's always there, just allow yourself to hear it. We're going to start to break it down. We're going to go to a few different areas and systems within your body. We're going to kind of really fine tune it. We're going to tune into that specific instrument, that specific harmony, this bit of harmony that's playing. So first I want you to go to your heart. The other noises, the other sounds, we're kind of going to let them fade for a little bit, just so you can really focus in on your heart. So you might hear it as the beating of your heart. You might hear a song that your heart is singing as it's pumping. So allow it to be like a song or a tone. Allow your heart to sing for a moment. And just take a moment to listen to what that sounds like. Now, if it feels like your heart is struggling, if it feels like it's having a hard time singing, making that tone, identify whatever emotion that's holding there, or emotions, or whatever barriers or fears are there. Breathe into that. Feel those emotions start to resolve. Energy around your heart and in your heart healing. And feel that song, that tone in your heart getting stronger. If it feels like all your heart's been singing is pain or sorrow, allow that to heal now, so that your heart can sing the joy that's there, and the love that's there, and the compassion that's there. Just feel that tone change as you listen to your heart. Okay. Now I want you to move into your lungs. So your lungs are really close to your heart. So again, any other sounds or noises, we're just going to let them quiet down for a moment. I want you to listen to your lungs. And you might get specific words. You might be picking up on specific emotions or feelings. Just recognize what you can hear right now. For those of you whose lungs are in the past, wishing for something different, praying for something different, trying to rewrite what's already happened. Take a couple nice deep breaths. Let's bring your lungs into the present. Let's bring them here and now. And as you're breathing in and out, any sadness or sorrow, any regret that you've been hearing in that song or that tone of your lungs, allow that to resolve, allow that to heal. And allow your lungs to sing the joy that's there. That happiness and gratitude for being present, for being in the here and now. Hear that song change, hear that tone change. Now allow yourself to listen to your heart and your lungs together. And recognize the harmony that's there. Okay, just taking a nice deep breath. And again, we're just going to allow all the sounds in your body just to quiet down a little bit. And I want you to listen to the sound of your nervous system. So your nervous system is your brain, your spinal cord. It's all the nerves through your skin, through your body, through your organs. They run through your whole body. And your nervous system is how you perceive, how you receive information from the world. So a lot of people's nervous systems feel a little too electric, a little too on edge, a little too overwhelmed. Feels a bit hard. So it might feel a bit high-pitched, a little bit nuts, a bit crazy. So again, listen to the sound of your nervous system right now. What's the song? What's the tone? If it feels a bit frantic or panicky or screechy, it's all right. Start to breathe into it. Again, even if you don't totally know how your nervous system works or where it is, that's okay. On some level, you do. So just allow this to resolve wherever it needs resolving. You don't have to do that. So as you're breathing in and out, feel that energy relax. Feel it calm down. Feel all that conflict, fighting against the world around you, fighting against your senses, fighting against all this information. And allow that to resolve. Feel those barriers coming down. You don't need them. And hear that tone, hear that song of your nervous system change. Allowing it to receive all that information. Allowing you to perceive the song and the music of the world around you. There's loads of harmony around you too, so allow yourself to hear it. So feel that vibrating through your nervous system. Vibration of love around you and within you. Okay. Now let's bring your attention, your focus to your stomach, your liver, your digestive system. We tend to hold a lot in those areas of our body. So again, hear the tone of those organs. How's all that working together? How does it sound? So again, allow yourself to identify if there's any emotions, any old conflict or trauma that's contributing to that disharmony, to that tone. Breathe into that. Feel that start to change. Allow yourself to hear your digestive system in harmony with it, with those organs within the system, and also the systems around it. So just take a moment to kind of go through the rest of your body. We could spend all night going through your whole body. We're not going to do that. But if there's any other organs or areas that really feel like they're in disharmony, it really feels like the tone or the rhythm or the music is out or off. Again, just allow yourself to recognize it, hear it, and find what the emotion is that's there. So now again, bring your focus out to your whole body, not just one system or one organ. And allow yourself to hear the harmony now. There's a few bits that are still a little off, that's okay. But start to hear the harmony that is there. So here's the thing. Let's take a couple deep breaths. If there's anything you want to share about that or any questions you have about that, please go ahead and share in the comments. We're going to do a little bit more with this, but if there's anything that's come up, please share now. What I want you to understand is that if your life is not in harmony, if you're tuning into your body and it is not in harmony, it's because you're making some choices or doing some things that are not in harmony with you. You're making choices that are creating conflict and that are pulling you out of that harmony. So we know that making healthy choices in your life, whether that's the food you eat, the exercise you do, the conversations you have, the connections you make, the how you express yourself, that is all part of your harmony. And if you're making choices to do things that do not align with that, then there's going to be disharmony in your life. There's going to be disharmony within you in how you feel and how you interact and what you do. So if it felt like there was a lot of disharmony there, I would say don't feel overwhelmed. Don't feel like, oh my God, I have to change everything right now. But if you start to make simple choices, simple changes, that all adds up, and it starts to bring you more and more and more into harmony. And the more you do that, the easier it becomes. And here's the thing: the questions that I get asked over and over again, and the big question in life is, what am I here to do? What am I here to do? Why are we here? What is my purpose? What's my destiny? What's my divine timing? Whatever you want to call that. If you are out of harmony, you're going to have a hard time hearing that voice that's telling you what to do. If you got lots of stuff that's distracting you, that's creating disharmony, that's shouting at you, it's hard to get on your on your path in a way that feels aligned, that feels really good. If you're not, yeah, if you're not doing that for yourself, um, because that when you are in alignment, when you are in harmony, you can hear your purpose. You can hear your intuition. You can hear the real you, like the soul you, telling you what to do and guiding you on the way. If you got a bunch of noise going on, it's hard to hear it, right? um, so yeah, and it's the same thing where if you got lots of drama going on in your life, you got lots of stuff going on, it's hard to get back to you and what's important. You get caught up in the distraction. You get caught up in all the other stuff. So if you can strip it back to that symphony within, that harmony within you, then it's much easier to really get clarity on what is my next step. What's the next thing for me to do? Where do I go from here? So one of the stories I've told a couple times before, but I'll share it again because it's one of my favorites. I went to see David Gray a couple years ago. And that was an amazing day. Actually, a lot happened that day. It was really cool. And I didn't know a lot of David Gray's music, but I went with a friend who loves him. And what I really do love, I love seeing singer-songwriters perform their own music because there's a deep connection there that it's not always the same if somebody else is singing your song if they didn't write it themselves. So I love watching singer-songwriters perform their own work because they're sharing their heart and their soul. And he's very cool. So it's just him on stage. And he's got, and I don't know the name of this machine, sorry, but it's one of these where you record a bit and it loops it. So you just keep adding layers, and there's a bit of a drum beat, and kind of a bass, and then the melody, all these bits, and then bits of voices. So there's harmony with the singing as well. So he's just recording and recording and recording and recording, and he's creating this harmony himself in order to make this song sound more full. And with all these layers, it sounds much more full. Yeah, it's just amazing. So he's like doing this with all of his music. It's just so cool to watch and listen to. And he starts to talk, and I wish I had been recording this. Of course, I'm glad I was in the moment, but I wish I had these words again to listen to over and over again. But what he was talking about was when you create a song, you create this music, there are all these layers to it, but you can always strip it back to the melody at its heart. And that was really, I don't know, I just thought that was a beautiful way to put this. We've got this harmony of our life. We've got this harmony of our body, our intentions, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, all these things that we do. We can create this beautiful, beautiful harmony of all of these things that support each other, that enhance it, and just make this beautiful sound, this beautiful creation. But there is always a melody at the heart, and that melody is you and your purpose. It's who you really are. So if you can strip away the distractions and the noise and all the shit that you're doing that you shouldn't do, all the habits and the stuff that gets in the way of you really living your best life and your highest potential, is saying no to that stuff, letting go of those aspects of your life, you get back to that melody. And that's where you can then create that harmony. Then you can start to bring in elements that really support you, who you really are. And it's not about you trying to fit in and create harmony with somebody else. It's not about you trying to balance somebody else or fit in with their song. It is your own melody. Now, your soul family, people you have these deep connections with, will help you create that harmony. They will do that too. So it's not that you have to do it all by yourself, but you've got to get back to that melody that's at the heart of you. And that's where you find your clarity. That's where you find that clear voice of, yeah, this is who I am and this is what I'm here to do. So hopefully all that makes sense. I love that message. I think it's just beautiful. Cool. Oh, Barbara, good. Barbara saying, I'm always amazed at how much I shift. Yeah, great. You're ready. Oh, Maggie, that's wonderful. So it's powerful. My heart wants me to love myself and embrace turning into a crone. Yeah, the crone is a great phase of life. Do it, girl. All that wisdom and magic. Absolutely. Oh, Shooter, that's my favorite Bob Marley song. Don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing's gonna be all right. It's so true. It's so true. Sometimes we get caught up in other details, other distractions. Yeah, good. I'm glad that that's made a difference. Y'all got some great messages from your heart. That's amazing. Um, yeah, so I mean, let me know if there's any questions about any of that, anything else that you'd like me to go into a little bit more. I don't know, anything I can share. Um, I mean, again, for me, the first thing to do is to strip back what's not working, strip back the disharmony, because then you create space for new good stuff. So for me, the first step in stuff is always letting go. It's the decluttering, it's the healing, it's the letting go of old emotion, it's the saying no to the things you don't want to do. It's the, yeah, what can you say no to in your life that will make you happier, that will contribute to your happiness, that you can feel freer for? So sometimes it's stripping out the disharmony and then finding the things that align now, that create that harmony for you now. Oh, good, Jill. That makes sense. Great. Hey, Barbara's doing her first meditation evening tonight at 7. Gonna be creating some more harmony, Barbara. I love it. That's exciting. Have fun with it. Definitely. Oh, yes. So, I think that is about all from me. Next week is the 5th. Is that right? Is it March next week? It is March next week. Yeah, that's so weird. I'll be back. I don't have a topic yet, so if there's any requests, you can send them to me here or send them to a private message to the page. That's fine. Or I'll just tune in and see what feels good. Something I'm going to do on the 6th, I'm going to start on the 6th for the first time, is an online new moon ceremony. So there's information here on Facebook and on my website. I just feel really called to do this. It feels really good to do kind of a monthly online ceremony where a group of us are connecting to look at. So we're going to kind of clean up some old karma and stuff that's getting in the way so that for the new moon, you can really start to focus on what you're wanting to create over the next few weeks or month. And we're going to do that all together on Zoom. So I'll transmit some whatever comes through. I'll do some healing, some resolution. Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be really powerful. I'm excited for me too, because I think it's going to be good for me as well. But please join me. That will be fun. So that information is there on my website. So next week on the 5th, I'll be here live on Facebook, and on the 6th, I will be doing the new moon over Zoom. If you don't have Zoom, it's super easy. It's awesome to get and download and use. It's the best. It's my favorite. I think that's it. I'll check to see if there's any last questions. Lisa's saying, clearing now, all things are already shifting. Awesome. It's time. And Jill, strip back all that disharmony. What can you let go of in your life? What can you say no to? Definitely. So we'll do a bit of that and the new moon stuff as well. In terms of future stuff, I'm looking at dates for theta healing courses. I've got people asking for an advanced course, so I'm speaking with Vicki in Glasgow about that now. I'm also looking at planning a crystal layout, past life regression, remote viewing course. It's a 2-day one. It's super fun. I love that class. So I'm going to look at that, teaching that this spring or early summer. So there's a few things going on my website, and I'm starting to put information on there about these initiation ceremonies that I'm going to be doing. I'm still feeling into whether they're kind of evening, half day, whole day things, and kind of trying to get a sense of venues. I feel like I'm still working that out. But I'm really excited about those. So hopefully this week I'll have a better sense of when they're going to be and where. I'd like to do one in March if I can do that. And that will be in person, and I'm going to do that in Edinburgh. And that's going to be having a focus on ancestors. It feels amazing. So I really want to do that sooner than later. But yeah, so those are the things that are coming up in terms of in-person stuff with me. Yeah, I think that's it. But see, there's no other. Oh yes, let's see. Jill's saying, when you bring up the yucky feelings and they are huge, and you say, taking a nice deep breath, how do you stay with the initial feelings? Yeah, so here's the thing. If old emotions are huge, you've probably really been avoiding them for a long time, which is why they're so big. And again, we all do this to a degree, so it's not just you, Jill. So allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to really feel it. And then as you are feeling it and as you're bringing in that new energy, because it's been recognized, it can now go. It's kind of that thing of you can allow it to go now. Yeah. So just allow that those feelings can dissipate, and you can allow the good stuff in. Again, it's that thing of get rid of the stuff that's in the way of the good. So you're just allowing that to resolve within. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, doing both at the same time. Yeah, it is. You're resolving one and allowing in another. Cool. Right. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. It's been great to see you. Sorry about my voice again. I'll be back next week. And if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask me in private, then just send a private message to this page. I'm really happy to do that if it's not something you want to share with the group. And I hope you all have an amazing week. And my voice will definitely be better by next week. So I will see you all then. Thank you so much.